Oops. Oh, hi, it's Charlotte Pearson, the producer of Ready Row USA. I'm here with Stuart Shepherd of Wrekin Rowers, the recently completed Atlantic crossing with he and his 4 crewmates. Hi, Stuart.
Hi, Charlotte.
Yeah, are you in England or in Wales?
England. So we're on the Welsh
okay.
border, actually.
Oh, I see. Okay,
just in England.
Because I finally figured out why you named your crew the Wrekin Rowers. So we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, ReadyRowUSA.com is our website. We are. I will flip the slides here in a second. Yeah, like I said, Wrekin Rowers is our featured crew on this pop-up podcast. We're calling them. They're just kind of little informal discussions. We'll be having our main episode with FOar From Home on March 8th. And we had Project X, the 2 women from Switzerland, on this morning. And that was really fun. And I think you were there, Stuart. I really appreciate you making comments. That was great.
That's okay.
Yeah. And so FOar From Home, they're the veterans who are raising money for veterans suicide prevention and PTSD treatment. And we'll have a few surprises. I think we're going to have a special guest on the 8th for to celebrate International Women's Day the month of March. The day is March 8th. And we celebrated a little bit with Project X this morning with Marina and Sonia. So we are, all these times are US Eastern Time, UTC -5 at the moment. And the series is sponsored by the Wave Coastal and Offshore Rowing magazine. We really appreciate their sponsorship and helping us keep the lights on. They have launched a new page on their website, thewaverowing.com, for ocean and offshore and open water rowing. So that is going to be packed full of networking opportunities and resources and lots of good information. He's really on top of it. His name is, the publisher's name is Craig Chalk. Thank you, Craig. You're the best. And we also have Sykes and Resolute, our racing boat manufacturers, are sponsoring since last year. Burnham Boat Slings, one of everybody at least in the US has that I know of almost has a Burnham boat cover. They are really well made, and I love the company. It's up here in New Hampshire near me. Just excellent customer service, both of those companies. And my website designer and manager is Laura Williams of goodinklings.com. If you go to my website, ReadyRowUSA.com, she designed that. I took this picture at Community Rowing in Boston. I just love it. It's like 5:30 in the morning, and these are new Learn to Row students there on the dock. Yeah, I know. It's just my favorite picture.
So is that down on the Charles River, is it then?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there a few times. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, we'll come by and we'll row. If you drop by, I'll get a double or a quad together and we can do some rowing if that's of interest. That dock there, I fell off it last fall carrying a double. I bruised my ribs, but I did not crack them.
Oh, well.
Right. This is Project X, Marina and Sonia. This is like, I just love this picture. This is totally like their personality. They were so fun to talk to this morning. And Stuart, we are, I thought I had I have a slide for you too. Yeah, there you are. So which one are you? You're on the left there, right?
Left-hand side for me, yeah.
Yeah, great. So I guess, us lay people, what got you into it? Like, what made you think you wanted to do this, and why this?
Well, actually, I'm from an area in the UK called Shropshire, a county called Shropshire. So it's quite a small rural county, and I'm a member of a rowing club called the Shropshire Adventure Rowing Club, and we row Celtic boats, so not fine boats like you're rowing Celtic boats. And we have about 52 members of that club, and 11 of us have rowed the Atlantic. So we've got quite a pedigree for a landlocked county, where 11 of us have now rowed the Atlantic. So quite an amazing thing. So kind of interest comes from that.
And so you kind of got the you see other people doing it, and you kind of know what their experience was like. So that helped you a little bit.
You kind of ignore that a little bit, because everybody's experience is unique to them, I think, and every race is unique to the race that you run. But what you do get is a bug for it. Like we're all quite adventurous rowers. So we've like as a club, we've rowed the Amazon from start to finish. We've rowed the Irish Sea a few times. We do a lot of coastal rowing. So we like to have a bit of adventure, and rowing an ocean, something like the Atlantic, is probably the ultimate adventure that you can have. So that's why we keep signing up for it. Don't
you think so? Yeah, that is just amazing. Yeah, I row on the Charles River, which is with a racing shell. It's adventurous in its own way because of the twists and turns and stuff. But I don't think I could row on a lake, and go around in circles or something. I need some interest. But yeah, so that's amazing. And so this was your first time, though, right?
Yeah, all of us. Yeah, it's the first time that we've rowed the ocean, and it was just fantastic. Yeah, hard. Really hard. We all wanted to find a challenge that would really push us to the extremes of your endurance, both physically and mentally. And it really does. Strangely enough, the physical side of it becomes easier. The mental side of it becomes harder the longer you're in the race. And so the mental side of it is really, really important, that you pay attention to that and how you approach things.
So you were how many days on the water?
40 days, 12 hours and 33 minutes is our ending time.
And again, this was your first time personally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the hardest part about, or what was the most powerful experience that you had, or was there a high point or a low point?
Yeah, there were lots of those. I mean, we had an interesting experience that our boat was holed by a marlin. So we got struck by a marlin 750 miles from home, and it left a big hole in our boat in the bottom of the hull. So that was a challenge, because we had to row the last 750 miles with 2 of our lockers filled with water.
Did you have any repair stuff? No.
We ended up doing a repair with the lid of a sandwich box. So we actually put that over it was quite a big hole. So the sandwich box lid was a fair old size. And we put that over the top of the hole, and it stopped water flowing in and out, but it couldn't prevent the whole leak itself. So we then just stuffed the lockers as much as we could. And then we were carrying probably about 100 litres of water extra on the boat for the remainder of the row itself. So that was quite a challenge, but it was actually so rewarding as well to get over that.
Well, to know that you had overcome that, it's just like, could you tell that it was slowing you down?
Yes. I mean, we went down, we were covering round about between 70 and 78 miles a day. And once we got hit by the marlin, we initially went down to about 52 miles a day. So it's costing us 20 miles. But then as we managed to retrim the boat and do lots of things, we did get our speed back up to over 70 miles a day. But we had to do a lot of work to get that. And
did the marlin think that you were lunch or something, or what was the...
Yeah, we think so. On the bottom of these ocean rowing boats, you have reflective tape, so that if the boat flips over and you're stuck upside down, then you're visible a lot more easily by rescue boats and so forth.
Yeah.
And we just think that reflective, it looks like a shoal of fish, so it goes and attacks it.
There you go.
And, and the way that it holed our boat, it went through the bottom of the boat and through a locker. So the beak on this marlin must have been at least 3 foot long. So it was a big old fish that came at us.
Did he get stuck there? Or
No, it rammed into us, stopped the boat almost dead in its tracks, and then went off and just left us with a nice hole.
Yeah, that's incredible. Wow. And did you see whales and things like that? Or
Same day, actually. When we got struck by the marlin, we later in the day, as we were all feeling a bit sorry for ourselves, it's almost like the whales came along to cheer us up. So we then had 3 or 4 whales come along and then just swim around the boat and under the boat, and we got some of it on video as well, and that was just amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah. And were there any big storms, or like how do you deal with a storm? Does the boat go up over a wave like a?
Yeah, most of the time. I mean, when you're sat in the, I would say most of the people that are watching your videos of rowers, so they'll know when you're talking about bow and stern and so forth. So when you're sat at the stern of the boat, and your aspect of the sea, you've got the boat, the stern of the boat is about 2 foot higher than you are. And then you're looking at the waves coming at you, and they must be 30 foot high when they're coming at you. And sometimes you'll ride them. So you'll get your boat tipped up one way, go over the top of the wave and down the other. Sometimes you don't, and it'll break over the back and you just get completely soaked through. And those are all right. They're lots of fun because you learn to surf the waves a little bit, and you can get your speed up to 9-10 knots, which is fantastic. It's the waves coming from the side that you don't see, and they come and hit you from the side, and you're just soaked through to the skin, and then you're pushed off your seat, and you're in the gullies of the boat, and your shoes are still strapped into the foot straps, and you're not. You're sat in the gully, and then you get back up, and then the same happens again a few minutes later.
But are you tied on? Aren't you tied? You're tied on in case you get swept over, right?
Yeah, always. Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the big mantras of ocean rowing, is that you always say stay strapped onto the boat itself. So you're wearing a safety harness 100% of the time. As soon as you open that door and you get out, you're strapped back onto the boat. Because it's true, if you come off that boat, no matter how good a try you have at trying to rescue them, that person's going to be gone. You're not going to get that boat turned around fast enough to get back to them.
I think I saw a picture of one of the crews. A guy had went over.
Yeah,
is that
I mean,
possible?
Again, yeah. Well, it can. I mean, people have died doing ocean rowing, but
yeah, I don't mean he. I mean, he was strapped in, and I don't know if he went completely over, but he was looking at the ocean.
Oh, well, it does. When there's people do capsize, and the Pacific boys, when you speak to them, I think they did capsize in this year's race, and that's horrific. Yeah, that's horrific if that happens. You do get a lot of where you're nearly tipped over, so you're on your seat and you're holding onto the like port side, and you're looking down at starboard, and all you can see is ocean, and then it rights itself. But it's all exciting stuff. It's amazing how you get used to it. It sounds a bit scary, but it's not. It's really,
no, I get it. Yeah,
quite thrilling. Yeah, quite thrilling.
And you just have the task at hand. You have to do it, or you're not going to go anywhere.
That is exactly it. You understand it perfectly. You're doing the task at hand, and you're just getting on with it, and you don't really think about the problems and the dangers. You're just getting on with the job. It's good. Yeah, it's great. It's amazing how you adapt.
Yeah. It's what humans are capable of doing is just, that's kind of what the powerful part of this for me. And I want to get into a little bit of who you're raising money for, but any other sort of epiphanies? I know the Marina and Sonia were talking about the glassy ocean and the stars at night and the reflection, and it just looked like this big 360 star.
Well, I think I was listening to that, obviously, as you know, and I agree. The first few days that we had out on the ocean, it was like rowing on a lake. It was just unbelievable. There was just no movement on that water, and it was fantastic because we were great. We had no seasickness at all on our boat. Nobody had seasickness.
No, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're so calm, so we didn't have that. We struggled to eat, which was a different matter altogether. And then the conditions just changed as the wind starts to pick up and the ocean moves. And we had the same thing with the plankton. So one of our crew is visually impaired, so he's registered blind, Stuart Richards. And even he's got periphery vision. And even so Stuart is the second in from the left. Even he could see the glow of this plankton as we were moving through the water. So as the bow of the boat went up and then down onto the waves, then the plankton would light up, and you just have a stream of green light going down the side of the boat, and then your oars going in. amazing. And they're right about the stars. It's so clear at night. It's full, and you just see every constellation.
We don't see that here because it's all lit up, you know.
It's just amazing. And whilst you're doing a job out there and you're working hard, it's surprising how little time you have for contemplation, because you're either working, you're doing a job, or you're sleeping, and then you've just got the bits of time in between. But when you do have that time, it's just amazing to just lie there, and you never quite get silence either, because the boat's always moving. And you know what it's like when you're on one of your boats. It's the sound of the oars, it's the sound of the water, and that's actually a very reassuring sound. When I came off the boat the first night that I was on a normal bed, again, I couldn't get to sleep, and I was thinking, what's actually wrong? Why can't I get to sleep? And it was because I couldn't hear the water, and so mentally I was just making that noise and the oars going, and then off I dropped to sleep. And
you need one of those baby cribs with the rocking motion. Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. What else was I going to ask you? Your first meal when you got off the boat.
Oh, well, everybody gets a burger, so you're going to get the same answer on that one. So when you come off it, what you should be asking is, what's the first meal that you enjoyed when you got off the boat? That's what I would ask. And actually, that was breakfast the following day, because we came in at night. So we had a burger in the morning, late at night. And breakfast the following day was just having some fresh fruit that you could go to, and you could have as much fresh fruit as you wanted. And that was fantastic. And
so you had these sort of MREs, what granola bars, power bars?
Oh yeah, we had all that stuff, and actually the food was a real problem part for me, because it's all rehydrated things, and we didn't have any hot water, so we had a problem with the gas supply for our boiler, where it was gone. For 5 days we had no hot water, so everything we had was cold, and rehydrating the food, and the food when it's hot is pretty rough. When it's cold, it's really rough.
And that's
not detrimental to the manufacturers at all. It can be quite tasty, but we just struggled with it.
I can imagine. You just go ahead.
Yeah, getting real food and real fruit again was just fantastic.
I can only imagine. Yeah. Well, that's great. I wanted to close up with just talking about these charities that you're supporting through your rowing, and what they mean to you, and how people can assist in your effort.
Okay, well, there's a thing I want to ask you about, Charlotte, as well, before we close up if we can. So the charities that we raise money for, we raise money for the Royal National Institute for the Blind, because one of our guys' crews visually impaired. So we raise money for them. And then we also raise money for a local hospice. So there's a hospice that works within our area, and they do fantastic work. And we've all had friends and relatives that had to use that hospice. And so we managed to raise just probably over $200,000.
That's incredible.
For those two charities. So we're really pleased with that. And everybody in our community. So when you speak with FOar From Home, what they've got is a fantastic community around them where they live, and they've raised a phenomenal amount of money. I mean, it was over $600,000 when I last spoke to them.
I watched their interview, and I teared up, because they were obviously so moved by their mission.
Yeah, and they're great. And we had the same thing. Our local, where we live, we're all local people, just ordinary guys, and the whole community got round us and raised a phenomenal amount of money and things like that. So it's just fantastic, and it really does have an effect when you're out there rowing hard and feeling a bit depressed at times. And you've got all those people behind you. It kind of motivates you to just keep going. It really does have an effect. But the question I got for you, Charlotte, was your American accent. It's always like we are Wrekin Rowers, but it's actually Wrekin Rowers.
Wrekin.
I thought you knew about you were saying Wrekin Rowers because you knew about the boat that we didn't make it with, that we actually did manage to trash a boat during our training.
Awesome. That's I mean, it's like, fulfilling the name,
It is, that's it. So we always everybody called us Wrekin Rowers, even when they knew how to pronounce it correctly.
I was wondering, all those team names are so fun to figure out. Yeah.
But it's actually a great thing for people that are looking to do something adventurous like this. One of the key drives you've got to have is to keep going. So we lost our boat about 5 months before the start of the race, and these boats are on an 18-month order to try and get something, and we managed to get hold of a replacement boat and with no equipment on it, and then we had to do our training without any electronics and then get the electronics fitted. And really it's about keeping going. I think that's what Rowing in Ocean does for people, and all the teams and all the people there. When you're at the start of the race, the unbelievable thing is you've got all these teams that are in competition with each other, willing to help with anything that anybody else might want.
I heard some stories about that. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and the fact that you all know each other. I mean, Marina and Sonia knew you guys, and FOar From Home, and
well, we spend a good couple of weeks really where we're all working very closely with each other, and you're helping out and you're having a laugh, and you all know that you've got something ahead of you that's really going to test you. So you are racing to win, but you're racing yourself, and that's the key thing.
Well, we are kind of coming to the end here. They all take longer because I could talk for hours with you, but
shall I answer Jason's question? Yeah, shall I answer that?
Yes, please do. Yes, Jason is going to be one of our hosts on the FOar From Home. So.
Oh right. Well, Jason, it was naivety. That's what wrecked our boat. That we were doing our first nighttime row out on the Welsh coast, and the Welsh coast can be pretty rough, and it was quite a rough night, and we miscalculated where we were by about 5 miles. So we were 5 miles further west than we thought we should have been, and we didn't take notice of it, and we actually just rode straight onto a set of rocks, and if we'd have been 200 yards north or south, we'd have gone to a beach. But we didn't. We went into the rocks, and once it got hold of it, we were the first people to write off a Rannoch ocean rowing boat.
You had do they all have Rannochs?
Most of them did. I mean, Project X, they've got what they call the whale boats, so which I think are designed in Holland. Yeah. So there's a few of those appearing now, but predominantly the race, probably 30 of the boats are Rannoch boats in this year's race.
Yeah. So between the Marlin and the rocks, you've pretty much destroyed your reputation.
Yeah, if the boat hasn't got a hole in it, we're not interested.
Oh God, I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And if you can jump on with Jason and Ryan on the 8th and ask questions and stuff, we'd love to have you. And
okay, yeah,
it's always lovely, it's always more fun when people chime in and stuff. But Wrekin Rowers, wrekin-rowers.com is your website, and you are role models for the rest of us, Stuart. So thank you.
Oh. No, well, thank you, Charlotte, and you keep rowing on Charles River, and if I get over there again next year or this year, then I'll give you a call.
We'll show you a good time. We have some pretty fast Harvard 8s that cruise up and down there.
Yeah. Well, don't get you're in fine boats. You're going to have a rough rower come on one of those boats. You might have to take care of me, I think.
Well, you might be so powerful that we just like race on down the river. I don't know. Good. Well, let's stay in touch, and thank you so much for telling us about your experience. This is great.
Okay. Lovely talking to you all. Okay.